Hello, everyone. Blind Metal Gamer, along with Blind Bastard here, aka Matt. What is up, Matt? How is your
For
start to
this, for the sake of this stream, for the sake of the stream, just you can call me by my name. It's cool because
All right, yeah, hey,
yeah,
Matt. What's up, man? That was
uh,
just for the YouTubers. What is up, my
yeah.
man? How's it
How's
going?
it go? How's it go? It's going great, man. I've been watching The Walking Dead all day. Doing some house cleaning before I get to work, and
Cool, cool.
trying to find out about this podcast because I had no idea how to set this up at first, and yeah, rolling with this little home rig I've got going on here. So
All right, so
yeah,
tonight this is KSB Storytime episode 2, a KSB New Year. Happy New Year. So, Matt, I remember vividly, and I'm sure you remember too, in the last episode I did with Carl, we did a KSB Christmas.
yes, I listened to that stream. It was good.
Now, in this one, okay, we've all returned from holiday break. We've got our presents. Do you remember, like, have any fond memories of that first Sunday back after Christmas?
There was a time when I was growing up where we came back to KSB, and all of our friends would be like, "Hey, look what I got for Christmas! Look what our folks gave us." And I remember one Christmas, it was me and a student. Um, I showed him what I had received for Christmas, and he did the same. And it turned out we had got the same exact thing for Christmas. It was really,
Oh, wow.
yeah, we got the same thing, and we were in awe. Um, and we were, I think, 11 years old at this point, and Power Rangers was the big
Nice.
thing.
Oh, yeah, I
So
remember that back in the day.
we got something from that, and it's really neat. But yeah, it was mostly just students talking about their holidays, what they did with their folks, and uh, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed coming back to the school and uh, just really getting to talk with everybody and things of that nature because that was your second family away from home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Me
Yeah,
too. I remember vividly coming back. Oh, what did you get for Christmas? And then I would tell them what all video games I got or CDs or whatever I
yeah.
got, and we would all just share our holiday memories. But then, reality would hit with, the next day we had to go back to class.
Got to go back to school. Yeah, I got to go back to
Yeah, buddy.
class. Yeah, and
Yeah.
start the assignments and things of that nature.
Oh, yeah.
Um, it was interesting because over the Christmas, like on Christmas, I had my daughter watch a video yearbook, and she was like, "Wow, I can't believe how young you were back then." And
Oh,
uh,
no.
she got to watch it, and she was like, "Wow, that school seems like very structured." And I said, "Yeah, they were
Oh,
very
yeah.
structured."
Very, very much so. And I was even telling my girlfriend that about, the yearbooks and whatnot. And
Yeah,
we're going to watch one when I was up at her place back around middle of last month. We never did, but we'll get to that maybe
yeah,
next month or something. But
sure.
but yeah, I mean, I'm glad the KSB video yearbooks are out now and everybody can watch them.
I'm glad for that too. I'm glad that people can kind
Shout out
of.
to Lonnie Swafford.
Yeah, absolutely, Lonnie. You're the man. I've always
Yeah,
wanted to
you're.
say this about Lonnie. Lonnie should have been a comedian.
Yes, he should have.
Just absolute cool guy. Yeah. Shout out to Lonnie. Awesome. Thanks for
Yeah, thanks for
doing that.
preserving KSB history for us. Also,
Yeah.
it was wintertime too. This wasn't coming back in the fall. This was the frigid winter temperatures. So we had snowstorms and all that type of stuff to deal with too.
And it was a 6 hour trip on the way there and on the way back. And those trips, especially if you're, going all the way to Louisville and then coming back and going all the way to like Wallens, Kentucky, which is where I was living at
Oh
the time.
man.
That was a 6 hour trip both ways. And it was, I slept just about the whole way. It was three buses. I took three buses to get to school, and it was just, yeah, it was something.
Me, I only had to take the one because I was just like an hour away, so it was just easy peasy. But the
Yeah.
one thing that really got me was when we snowed in on the weekends. Do you have any memories of that?
I have a lot of memories about that. I remember being snowed in there. I think it was the snowstorm of like 93. Was it 93? I'm pretty
94.
Was it
94. I
94?
remember that, yeah, because I
Yeah.
remember it very vividly because I had gotten home that weekend and I couldn't go back because the snow had gotten so bad. And then the next week, by the time they got it cleared up, my mom, this was a godsend for me. I was like, shoot, I don't got to go back another week. What happened was the buses weren't running the first couple of days, and then by the time it was time to go back, I would have just had to turn around and come home again. So
Yeah.
mom
Yeah.
made up this alibi. Oh, Tim's not feeling well. He's not
I mean,
feeling
it's
too
a good
good.
alibi to have. I
I'm
mean,
gonna
we've all
I'm gonna
missed
keep him home.
a
So
bit
they
of
fell for
school.
it. Okay, now they fell for it. They fell
Yeah.
for it for the thing, and I got to stay home an extra week. And when I got back, for those of you who don't know, Miss Pat Sanders, I'm sure you remember her, Matt. Miss Pat
Yes, I do.
Sanders.
Yes, I do. I
She
remember her.
was enraged at me. Oh my God. She was like, Tim, you had to get on 2 weeks and we only got 1 week. You played hooky while we had to endure this. That wasn't fair to us. And it looks like we're going to have a third guest, folks.
She might have been just messing around, joking around with you a little bit.
No, she wasn't joking around. She was
Um,
not. Was not.
I think that with her,
And
that
we have a third guest.
who is our third guest?
Let's see here. If I can get them in. Come on. There we go. Hey, Carl, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
How's it
Good,
going?
good. We were just talking about snowstorms and what it was like, having to endure those storms at
Oh,
KSB.
man. Me and David Lee Loving talk about this subject quite extensively.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So, I remember, like, if you got a snow day off, you were damn lucky, and it was that bad because the teachers all took public transport.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let me get back headset here. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember what that's like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that. I mean, when we got a day off, we were like, damn, we got to actually sleep in. I remember vividly in 1999. For those of you younger watchers and listeners who might be watching and listening, there was a big ice storm. And this ice storm encased everything in ice. So everything in this on the school grounds was encased in ice. And
yes.
and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is so cool. So we were dealing with that, and me and my roommate Chris Domke, who was awesome, he always had 99.7 DJX playing because he would go to sleep with it. This is cool, when we heard Peter be in the gang, we would know to be getting out of bed and getting moving and a grooving. So,
That's
you
a
know,
nice little signal there that you just know like who's on the radio, what time to
yeah,
like
to
get
get up
moving.
and get going
Yeah,
because you
that's
didn't
pretty
want the
neat.
house parent putting the lights on you. No, siree. So
Yeah.
that would come on, right? And we were listening vividly to see what was going to happen when he said the Kentucky School for the Blind is off. We were like, yes. We were fist pumping and high
Yeah.
fiving. And
They
you remember
knew
that,
that
guys?
they knew the teachers all took a bus or something like that. So
I
Oh
think the
yeah,
biggest relief also is just like, yeah, you fist bump your roommate and then you're going back to bed because I
yeah,
remember like for us, like you woke up early, you wanted to like just go
yeah.
back to
To
sleep. Like
hell with this. We're
you
going
woke up
to
early
bed.
every day of the week. I
uh,
mean, you were up every like
Oh
I
yeah,
six in the
remember
5:45. You were up and doing your
you
thing.
virtually wanted to send the DJ flowers.
Yeah.
morning. Yeah, yeah, that was true.
So, but then you had the day off, right? Oh, cool, get the day off. Then the next Tuesday we had an election day, and I'm
I
thinking,
enjoyed
yeah,
those.
oh, I loved those,
Yeah.
but not this one in particular. We had to make up the damn Friday.
Oh man. I can't believe they actually got the teachers to come in on election day.
Yeah, but the catch was we got out at 1 o'clock. So
Yeah, the booby prize.
yeah, that sucked. So Carl, do you got any memories of being snowed in at KSB during the
Oh,
winter?
yeah. Like all those times, like if it was kind of bad, you got 2 hour delays.
Yeah, those are like oh hell yeah.
It's not usually 1 or 2 hour delays. But
Yeah.
then if hell literally froze over,
Oh yeah.
that's when we got the off days.
Oh yeah. When hell froze over, we got the off days. But see, when we got the off days, the trick to that was we had to make them up.
Yeah, but the off
Yeah.
days were so much fun though. Like I had so much fun on our off days.
Oh, I know.
Like I wouldn't even call it being stranded because like we could just go outside. I remember like us building snow forts and
Oh yeah. Oh
uh
yeah. Those are the
like
fun days.
going into the food building and just having like just sitting around and not worrying about nothing, just eating with your friends and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. You just knew that it might be cold in fridges outside, but you had a hot meal waiting on you. You had a warm bed. And
Yeah.
it was like this would be a miracle. Like if you had homework and you had to get it done, that was your opportunity to get that done. Although I was like, to hell with that, I'm going to do it, use it for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was always hustle that like Sunday
Yeah,
evening, Sunday morning, Sunday evening is like, yeah, I'll go ahead and hustle, do everything then.
yeah.
So that was my thing.
Especially if I knew there was a snowstorm coming, get it done because I knew then if I got it done in time that day, if we had it off, oh, that was awesome.
And it
Yeah.
was quite beautiful when there was a snow day, too.
Oh, I know. But what I hated the most, and I'm sure you all do remember this too, having to make them up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I remember around like the testing part of the year when they would do testing. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
that was brutal.
oh yeah, we'll have an episode dedicated just to that in the spring. But yeah, one of my favorite snowed in memories was it was 1998, and it was early '98. The blizzard of '98 had happened, and I'm thinking my driver was going to come get me, and Aaron Reed and Blaine Grant at the time, and the late Tabitha Wilkerson, God rest her soul, said, no, Franklin County ain't going home. Your county ain't going home for a fact. And it was like, oh, what? And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be here all weekend. And then it was just the fun began. And then guess whose dorm I get stuck in until that Sunday?
I would know.
All right,
Whose storm
take a
do you?
guess, Carl. Take a guess.
Say it now. Repeat the question.
Guess whose dorm I was stuck in for the weekend of the blizzard of '98?
Okay. Now, I was there,
Right, I
class of
remember.
98.
Yeah, you were there during this time.
Ah, damn it.
What year did you graduate there, Tim?
2002, but I graduated public school.
Yeah. So your last year was what,
Uh,
2000? 2001?
2001 because I left.
2001. So you were middle
man, I
school
forget.
dorm.
Okay, I was in Pat Sanders' dorm that whole weekend.
Oof.
It wasn't so bad.
Nah.
Eh,
A lot of people like rag on, some of the teachers and dorm
yeah.
parents,
Oh yeah.
especially the ones that, were more structured, but I mean it was helpful in the long run, right?
Yeah.
I like Pat Sanders.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. I did too. It was like that weekend, going from Brenda's dorm, having the freedom, back to that more structured routine. I get what they did. Not I know why they did it. But we had to move down there at like 10 p.m. that Friday. Okay, so we moved in to the dorm, got our beds made, went straight to bed, and then we got up the next day. We had breakfast, and then we went over to the rec building, and we had a day of rec and playing out in the snow, and so it was fun. Miss Pat, shout out to Miss Sanders, making it fun for us. That was awesome. But I think it was Joe Godsey didn't like the fact that he couldn't go onto the air to the radio station.
I
He
mean,
was
well, I remember
Did they
having.
not have
Hmm?
I was about to say, didn't they not have the radio station open on snow days? Was that
Uh,
another thing?
I think that may have been the case. I'm not sure, but I
I
Well,
know.
thought
yeah.
maybe.
Because they always had to keep an eye on it.
Oh yeah, I remember
Because
that.
if you got it too high, it was going to reach all the other radios in the area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
man, and but and then that Sunday at like 11, we all got to go back to our regular dorms and get ready for the week. But it was a the experience, prepared me for okay being away from home for a weekend, and it prepared me for an experience that, or it rather solidified an experience I had back in 1997. Do you, Carl, remember the varsity wrestling team of '97 that went to St. Louis?
no, because I was never in the wrestling team. My doctor put a kibosh on that.
Oh man, I was on that team, and we went to St. Louis in January of '97, around this time or mid-January. It was cold and snowy. We left at like 5 a.m. on a Miller transportation bus,
Yeah.
and them seats were just like, oh my god, so good.
And
So
I remember, like, the wrestling room was the
yeah,
hottest place in the gym.
oh I
Yeah, it
know.
was. Yes, and it
During the
smelled
workout.
like socks too
Oh, I know.
every
Team socks.
time.
I
And
know.
the workouts were pretty brutal.
Yeah, the
They were
workouts were
they were. I
brutal,
mean,
man. Oh my
they got
god.
you in shape. They really
Yeah.
did.
Oh yeah, they did. I remember when I went. See, that was my only conference trip. I didn't get to wrestle, but I did get to watch and spectate, observe. So, let's see. That was a lot of firsts happened on that trip. So we're on the bus, right?
Hmm.
I had to take a restroom break, and well, I learned the hard way. You don't do your number one while standing on a moving bus because let's just say my aim was off.
Wow.
I was like,
Well, you kind of want to either just hold on to something or sit down because
that's what I found out the hard way. Shit.
the brakes are they're liable to
Yeah.
kick in.
But I will
You-
say, like, the best part is having an indoor pool, baby.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, that was the best part of that.
Oh
I mean, that
yeah.
school had a lot of things too. Like the bowling alley was another thing. The roller
Oh, I know.
skating
Oh yeah.
rink there and the gym, that was another thing I
That was
really
cool.
liked.
Except when they had the swimming season
Oh yeah, that
and
was.
they turned the temperature of the pool down.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah, that was.
No.
It was inhumanly cold.
Yeah, I remember that because in phys ed we would always try to. The first thing we would do at the beginning of the year would be swimming, and it would be and then we would do that in April or May. Really? You want us to swim in that cold water?
I can't
You're
remember who it
nuts.
was, but I had a memory of a student. I was just sitting on the sidelines. I was watching
Hmm.
somebody jump into this pool, and someone jumped in, and then they got right back out.
To hell with
Like
this.
in a second, they were like, "Oh my gosh, that is suicide!" I don't know. Like they
Uh,
kept saying it was suicide.
yeah, that was nuts.
Uh,
But
I
yeah,
have
so
no idea who's thought of that, but yeah, I just I want to send them Schrodinger's cat.
yeah, yeah, man.
Oh,
So I mean, okay, so back to the '97 conference in St. Louis. So
right.
I remember going on that bus and having that deal. Thankfully, no major mess happened, but I just learned that the hard way. So I get back to my seat and I'm like, oh, thank God. And we get to the Missouri School for the Blind. Everything was just snowed over and iced over because they had a bad snowstorm. And going through the arches, that gateway to the west, as they call it, was a great experience. And then we get there, we get into our hotel room, and they're giving us the itinerary for the night for Friday. They had a video game tournament That was my first introduction to the Sony PlayStation. I met a lot of cool people there, and I didn't get to wrestle like I said, but I had to experience the workouts. And holy hell, those workouts! 150 laps, 200 push-ups, 300 sit-ups,
Especially if you
200
were
mountain
going
climbers.
up or down in weight class. Well, like down in
Yeah.
weight class. If you
Oh
were
yeah.
if they wanted you to be down like
Yeah. You had to.
a pound and a half or
Yeah.
so,
Oh God.
you were working out that day. You were going
You
hard
were
at it.
busted your. Yeah. You were really gonna bust your ass on that, and I remember that too.
Yeah.
And by the way, yeah. And oh my God, very, very, very intense workouts.
Oh, yeah.
Very physical. The conditioning. I remember that too. Like leading up to the conference, they would do conditioning 3 days a week. Robert Mitchell would be in charge of conditioning.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the
And
best wrestling coaches
oh
ever.
yeah, Coach Mitchell. Shout out to Rob. He was awesome.
I
Just
remember Robert Mitchell.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Rob was cool.
He
Oh
was.
yeah.
He was one of the like best like teachers slash wrestling coaches. I mean,
Dorm parents you could have.
I've never had
because
him. I've never had the privilege, but yeah, just a great person.
I
Yeah.
kind of had him sometimes, but you know.
I had him as a wrestling coach, and on the junior varsity level, and as an assistant coach for the varsity. Coach Kenny Jones was my varsity coach. Shout
He
out to
was.
Kenny Jones. He was
Kenny
awesome.
Jones, I remember Kenny Jones. He was a cool guy.
Oh yeah, he was awesome. I mean, having him as a wrestling coach really meant a lot because I didn't get to have Coach Larry Mann. I didn't get to have him. I wanted him so badly though, because I heard all the stories about how he was on trips and how intense he was in practice, which is what I would have wanted, the intensity.
I
Because he won
remember
tournaments.
learning.
He tore them up.
I remember learning so much from Kenny Jones.
Oh
He was
yeah,
one of
me
my
too.
favorite teachers, and
Oh
he was
yeah.
always fair to me too.
Oh
I,
yeah,
re-
Coach Jones was fair, but when you screwed up, you knew about it, and that's the way it should be.
I remember I was doing laps in the gym, and a guy comes along and he was motivating me. He's like, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you." I'm like, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. I don't know how I remember all this, but yeah, I'm doing
Uh,
laps, and he was trying to get me to run faster. So
right.
yeah, he was always he brought the best out in people.
Oh
He wanted
yeah.
the best.
Oh yeah. I remember
Yeah.
in the wrestling room with him as the coach. I learned these drills that we did, and the part of the workouts where we would run the circle, right? We would have to sprawl and then get back up and run.
Yeah. Yeah.
And shout out to the captain of that team, David Perry, and shout out to Joe Miller.
David Perry, yeah,
He was a good captain.
I
DJ,
remember him.
I remember who was on that team. It was me, David Perry, Joe Miller, Melissa Saylor, Jamie Gregory was on it, and then
There's
there
a
was
lot of good people out there. I miss a lot of those
oh I
too.
know there was a few others. I forget who,
I haven't heard from a lot of them either.
but the coaches were Coach Kenny Jones and Coach Robert Mitchell, and oh yeah, DJ Harry was on it. So yeah, we all
Yeah. I remember
Oh,
DJ.
the
yeah,
Glory Boy.
yeah. Charlie Turner, I think, joined that squad. But I remember one day Coach Mann
It's a
was
good squad.
so Coach Mann was visiting. I'm doing this little wimpy workout. We're running in place. He's like, "Get over there and run, boy." I'm like, "Yes, sir, I'll do it." Because I didn't want to face his wrath. Because I just heard the horror stories of if you mess with him, you got it. And but Coach Mann was awesome from what I heard. But see, by having Coach Jones, you had his successor, and that was the
Yeah.
best thing for wrestling. And now I think Bo Mullins runs it. I
Oh,
think
that's cool because
that's good too. Yeah,
he
he
was
was under
into that.
yeah, he was a part of Coach Jones's lineage, so he's continuing on the tradition, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, do you all have any memories, fond memories of sporting events, of varsity JV that you all
Um.
participated in?
So I can tell you one of the first times that we went on a JV meet. I believe it was Indiana, and
Yeah, I
I
was on this
I,
trip too. I think.
I remember a teacher saying, "Well, you're going to take a bus," and I'm thinking, "Well, it'll be a school bus there and back. It won't be anything."
Yeah.
And for people, I'm going to put this into perspective because people who really go to public schools don't really have this luxury, I feel. And so we get on this Greyhound bus, and at the time, I had no idea what a Greyhound bus was. I've never been on
I
one.
believe it was a Miller transportation bus.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice. The
Oh
seats were
yeah. Oh, the
soft.
seats
We had
were. Oh.
TVs. There was a bathroom. Um, just it was really magical at the time because I was still little, and they served breakfast on there, and then we went out to eat after. But I remember going. I know we always did swimming first. Usually, that's the way it was.
Yeah, and then
Uh,
wrestling.
yeah, and then they did lunch, whichever school we were at, and then we
Yep.
did wrestling. I remember by the time wrestling came around, I was always so spent. But yeah, found a way to win a
I
few.
remember always trying to push Miss Pulaski into the pool.
Yeah, Miss Pulaski was a swim coach. I never had her. I never did swim, but I heard lots of stories.
She
Um,
wasn't too bad. She was pretty cool.
I remember. I forget which. I will need to get Ashley Court Swafford on here for one of these, and I think
I
I'm going to see. We
never
need
had
to.
her as a swim coach, but I did have her for O&M, so I did
I
have her
did
for that.
too. But
Yeah.
yeah,
She left me in the middle of downtown Louisville, and it took me hours to make it back. I almost got run over once.
Same, sir, same. And I was supposed to go to Walgreens, and it was rainy. It was like hardcore rain.
oh yeah,
And I had no idea where I was going. I was supposed to figure out this address, go into a store,
Man,
pick up some stuff, and
yep,
I was stuck out there for a while before I figured everything out.
yeah.
and
I remember.
I had the worst sense of direction in
Yeah,
all the alumni. The worst.
Yeah,
yeah. I remember. I got my Dairy Mart pass, but
Ooh.
that was
when I
fun.
got
That was
when I
fun. I
got
remember
my
getting that.
Bronzeboro pass, I was only limited to Rallies because that was the only place I could find. I was like, all right, but I mean, it's memories like that though that you know.
See, I remember the Dairy Mart pass,
Yeah,
and it
buddy.
was like gold.
I
It
know,
I
right?
was.
mean,
It was the first pass you ever got. Actually, it was.
And back
there's
before that, it
the
was the convenient pass. It was like, yeah, convenient, yeah,
yeah,
buddy. Just walk
there's a
over there.
Brownsboro pass,
Yeah, I
which
got
was
that.
okay, but
The
Yeah, I
Dairy
think
Mart
there
one
was a
was,
few rental places there. Yeah, I don't know if there
yeah.
still is, but there used to be.
Oh yeah, I remember. And there was bus on the convenience store pass. You could also go to the bakery, the Busman's
Yes,
Bakery, and pick
yes.
you up a donut. Oh man.
When I got that first pass, I thought I was it. Like it was like me and a few friends. We would go to the little convenience store into the
And buy your
bakery.
snacks. To heck with the
Oh,
snack
thought we
bar.
were the
Yeah,
kings and
buddy.
queens of the world. Yeah, it
Oh yeah.
was nice.
So back to the JV meets. We were on. I remember going to Indiana as well, and I wrestled a guy named Dustin Lewis, and he beat me. But it was a good match, and I contacted him several years later, and he remembered that. He remembered our match from way back in the day. So do you all have any type of other memories, real quick, about coming
I
back to
did want
school
to
for the
ask
new year?
you two something.
All right.
Sure. Yeah.
What was your most favorite blind school you traveled to besides Kentucky?
Let's see. All right. Matt, you want to go
Oh.
first?
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. I'd have to think about it because I've never been to Tennessee.
Right. I never went to Tennessee either. Ohio.
I've
Although
been
I
to
did be.
Ohio, Indiana.
I loved Ohio School for the Blind.
I want to say Ohio was mine, but I also went to Missouri, and I really liked Missouri's too. Um, I've-
Yeah, Missouri. The only ones I went to were Missouri and Indiana, because I never, did the whole. After I couldn't wrestle after the 1997 varsity season was up due to just issues, not related to wrestling. Um, it put the kibosh on me going under to any other blind schools for any other sporting events. It sucked, but the one experiences I did have, I just cherish them and I remember them, and they were
Yeah.
great people. So if anybody from the Indiana School for the Blind or Missouri School for the Blind, that's you'll know who I am or was, is listening or watching to this. Shout out to all of you all for awesome experiences during that time.
Yeah,
So,
shout out to the old alumni for Ohio School for the Blind.
oh yeah,
Oh well, yeah. I want to say that it was Ohio. I think it might have been Ohio for me.
oh yeah. In fact, it was funny after I got done wrestling. Me and this girl from Ohio started talking, and then we ended up.
Um,
Yeah, we ended up. It didn't work because of age differentiation, but still the experience, was
Same,
pretty
but I
cool.
was at a swim meet. It wasn't wrestling. It was swimming, and
Well, I met this girl. I was over at KSB for a KMEA thing or
oh,
something,
okay.
and she was there from Ohio, and then we met, and then she just wrote me out of the blue, and then we started talking, and then we eventually lost contact. So I remember that too. But yeah, and the New Year's were great up there at KSB. So before we kind of wrap our recording up, do you all have any advice for any of the current students that are at any blind schools that are returning for a brand new year after the holiday season?
Enjoy the new year. Pace yourself. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And just enjoy the school. Yeah.
And you, Carl?
Yeah, so if that pool water is still freezing cold, just deal with it. I have mental scars from the freezing cold water. Don't end up like me.
Enjoy those swim practices. Those are fun. I
Yeah,
like to
enjoy the
enjoy them.
wrestling and swim practices. On either JV or varsity level because they're fun. They're a lot of fun. And by the way, I do remember my final JV wrestling tournament in the same year that I went to Missouri. I went
Hmm.
all the way to the finals, and I won the most valuable wrestler for that year.
Cool.
Yeah,
So,
that is
Matt,
nice.
do you have any JV wrestling memories, real quick, before we wrap up?
JV. I just remember the trips there were very nice. I hardly remember any of the opponents that I wrestled because once I was there, I just kind of went through the motions. I didn't really like when it was go time. I was just I
Yeah, when
was
it was time
yeah.
to do our thing, when that whistle blew,
I didn't
it
really pay
was
attention
it was
that
time
well.
to go. And I remember,
Yeah.
thinking, okay, can I go? Can I go? Although I got beat in the first period. I remember my JV red and white tournament, the last one I did in April of '97. My mom was there, my brother was there, and everybody that my family was watching me. The first match I had, again, shout out to Chris Domke for giving me one hell of a match.
Yeah.
I
We went
I
the
remember my
full six
dad.
minutes.
I remember my dad going to see me and my swimming meet a few times.
I do want to bring up one thing,
Sure.
and RIP to Dwayne Moore, but
Yeah.
I remember being on the bus after every trip, and we would get our ribbons, and guy was just awesome. Love the guy,
Yeah. He was
but
one that
he would hand
for
us out our ribbons and kind of make a big show out of it, and it was just so cool. Uh,
Yeah, RIP to Dwayne. I remember
yeah,
Dwayne really being involved in circumstances later on after our departures led to that what happened to him. So yeah, RIP to Dwayne, and a big shout out to Rick because he was awesome too
yeah,
as a
Rick,
coach.
yeah. Rick is a
Rick,
phenomenal track
Rick
coach.
Moore.
Yeah, he was
Rick Moore was a piece of work, a jackass.
Really,
Oh
I
man.
love the guy.
Oh
Love the
yeah,
guy.
I knew a guy who he basically Rick Moore slammed him against the wall.
oh shit.
I can't
He was quite abusive to people.
speak to
I
that.
mean, I remember, there was a time I screwed up and I falsely accused the entire dorm of stealing my glasses, right? They were in my book bag the whole time. Yeah, I deserved a punishment. And, what I got was I had to write a 4-page essay, and I got it completed and turned in, and everything was cool.
The
But,
guy was always an asshole to me. Even when I try to be nice to him later on after I graduated, yeah, I don't have many nice memories of that guy.
I think one of the good memories I had with him, it was me and a few buddies, and I know Half-Life had just came out.
oh, yeah, Half
And
Life on the PC,
yeah,
nice.
and we were all, it was me, him, and a few other people. We were all gathered in the computer lab there in Evans Hall, and we all did this kind of local multiplayer online there. It was really neat. I enjoyed the experience.
Oh yeah, I never
Yeah,
got into that, but I mean, he was the study hall director, and he would help me when I would ask for help. And I remember times when teachers would want to kick his butt because did he spell check his work? I would forget to spell check before printing and turning in my work, and he got all the heat. So he took a lot of heat from me on that. But now when it came to being firm, I remember too when I needed that too, I got it. So, I kind of got both ends. But really quick, before we wrap up, I do want to say shout out to KSB as a whole, to the alumni, to the staff, the students. You guys what make it work, and you guys
seriously,
are
absolutely.
going to do great things with KSB in the future. Um, so
Well, I
Carl,
hope.
yeah, do you have any closing remarks or words of advice for the students that are there now or the alumni?
I heard DJ is working there. I
Hmm.
wonder if he's sleeping with the teacher still.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to find out.
I
Dum, dum, dum,
very
dum.
speechless. I don't.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't expect that.
that was
Oh
that
yeah,
was
there
that
are rumors
was
that he slept with Miss Weston.
that's out of just
Yeah,
left
that's just
field.
rumor.
That's out
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
that's out of left field. I have no. I don't even know how to react to that.
yeah,
I
yeah. Whoa, 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 what?
don't even know how to react to that at all.
So, okay, before we wrap up, I'm going to say to all the students that are there now, enjoy your time there. Enjoy this new year and new beginning. And take advantage of the opportunities you have now because once they're gone. And
Yeah.
there'll be memories. Now, to those alumni, shout out to you all. I don't know what's going to happen for Alumni 23, but I do know there will be more KSB story times coming
Oh yeah.
real soon. We're going to have more. So, with that being said, for Carl and Matt, I've been your host saying so long, everyone, and peace out.